told you Juju exists. See me, I told you Juju exists. Especially with your drug bar.
I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying that tournament showed people what is possible. People say, hey, why will I train? Why? So everyone can when I do that as sleeveless jersey, people say it's fashion. People that put it back there.
2025 marks the 25th anniversary of the AFCON 2000, which was co-hosted by Nigeria and Ghana, in which Nigeria lost to Cameroon in the final. And of course, there has always been a lot of conversation about who is to blame for that loss. So, welcome to Crossfire, brought to you by Lights Covet. I am Anishulu, Jimmy Anishulu, and Tunde and Tosin are here with me to discuss this. So, Tosin, let's start with you. Who do you blame for the loss?
25 years since Nigeria lost in the final of the AFCON. It's still very, very painful to Nigerian football fans because obviously Nigeria should have 4 AFCON titles now. We have 3. And it was one of the rare occasions whereby a host country actually plays and they lose in the final at home. But if you look at the tournament comprehensively from start to finish, because there are a lot of factors why Nigeria lost. You can talk about the ref in the penalty that Victor Ikeba scored. You can talk about a lot. There is blame to go around. But if we are to apportion blame correctly, the blame should go to the African Footballer of the Year coming into the tournament.
Wow.
It's as simple as that. From what I understand about football, football is a team sport. But in a team sport, big players rise to big occasions. And we've had several discussions on this program. And one of the, I respect Kanu, Super Eagles legend. Super Eagles legend. The problem I have is when people actually put him in conversations he's not supposed to be in. We had a discussion about Kanu and Ahmed Musa. I told him, don't in your life, put Kanu in a conversation with Ahmed Musa. Their category are different. Their hierarchy are different. At the 2000 Africa Cup of Nations, the poster boy for the tournament was the reigning Africa Footballer of the Year in his prime at 23, 24 years old. In his prime at Arsenal. And we've had a discussion whereby we said, have you ever seen a Kanu World Cup goal? And I even lowered the standard. That have you ever seen a Kanu AFCON goal? They will have used it for picnic commercial, but you've never seen it because it does not exist. And a typical example of why it does not exist is when you look at the totality of the 2000 Africa Cup of Nations. You will shake your head. Because we can look at players in their totality, the course of their career, they won this, they won Champions League, they won. What did you do when it was time to lift your country up? When it mattered the most? On home soil, the African Footballer of the Year could not deliver. He could not deliver. And not only did he not deliver in the final, he didn't deliver from game 1 to game 6. There's no game you can point out that he delivered in this game. Either the Senegal game, either the South Africa game, the Cameroon, whatever game it is, it was basically shot one. Let me just put it. And maybe one of the reasons why we are actually talking about this is that, like, obviously, this is 25 years. Obviously, hindsight is 2020. But looking back at that tournament, getting to the final without your perceived best player registering a goal or any contribution at goal, if he only was able to even muster just one in a crucial moment, maybe we won't be having this discussion 25 years later. Maybe we won't be having this discussion.
All right. So you are blaming Kanu for...
I'm not blaming Kanu. Kanu is to blame.
Okay.
There are two different
How are they? You're just twisting the ground. You are blaming Kanu. You are putting the blame on Kanu.
No,
Thank you for that. so Tunde, let me use Tosin's word. Who do you think is to blame?
First of all, consider yourself uninvited from any Aimba games or Rangers games. Secondly, It makes a good point that Kanu did not have a great tournament.
Yeah.
In fact, we've established that Kanu was not a tournament player per se when it comes to Super Eagles of Nigeria. But for you to say that Kanu is to blame for Nigeria not winning the African Cup of Nations on home soil, that is ludicrous and preposterous, if I do say so myself. Let me even stretch it and say it might be blasphemous. And
He's learning.
you should never, you should never utter
I'll start
such
coming
words.
to this place with the dictionary now.
You should never utter such words again. It's simple. Kanu did not have a great tournament. But what was the final score of that tournament? I know that you were not born when they played. But it was 2-2. The final score, that was still one of the most exciting AFCON finals in recent memory. It was 2-2. Nigeria had to come back from behind, trailing 2 goals at home in Surulere at the Teslim Balogun Stadium when it was still
National Stadium, Surulere.
the National Stadium Surulere. At National Stadium Surulere when it was still a monument.
People defecate there now.
I'm never going to say that. But the point is that we enter into a final and we immediately conceded 2 goals in front of our own fans. And you say it's Kanu that is to blame. Does that not first of all already tell you that there's a tactical issue? And the team showed a lot of grit to immediately come back. Like they did not even let the deficit stay too long. Okocha played some of his best football in that tournament. That's the tournament that gave us Julius Agawa. You cannot watch that tournament and say Kanu is to blame when the referee, Tunisian referee, what was that his name? Muradami or something, if I'm not mistaken. I don't for a fact that he's a Tunisian referee. Was giving some of the worst calls in the history. Like, I've heard of home advantage, but Nigeria seems to have home disadvantage. I've not seen a home team be treated like that ever. The Cameroonian goalkeeper during the shootout, Nigeria lost it on penalty shootout 4-3 to Cameroon. Missed 2 penalties. Missed because we actually scored 1. Victor Ikpeba scored a penalty off the bar. Went off the bar, dropped in to the net without touching the net, dropped in over the line and then popped back out. And the referee that was standing right next to the post said it was not a goal. But you want to blame Kanu for that one. The second penalty that we missed was Kanu that missed it, admittedly. But by the time Kanu played that penalty, when the goalkeeper, the Cameroonian goalkeeper, Buka Aliu, by the time he saved that ball, he could have up Kanu from where he saved it. That's how far he was from his line. He could have given Kanu a kiss. By the time he saved that, and the referee watched him. The referee was standing right there. We know where the referee started doing penalty shootout. The referee was standing right there, and he allowed all this to happen to the home team. Imagine you were now away. So I don't see how you blame Kanu for this. I think it's definitely a referee issue. How we got to the final, all of that is ancient history. But the final, it brings back really bad memories for lots of Nigerian football fans. The match was on February 13th, so lots of people's Valentine's Day was ruined. In fact, 25 years ago, you know that some of you, if your birthday fall around November, December, I can see that some of you don't have sex. You were conceived with anger. You were procreated out of frustration.
So, Tosin, how do you think that this loss 25 years ago, that it has been one of these that has impacted Nigerian football's decline?
Yeah, I will agree with that. The only thing I also agree in Tunde's statement is that there are a lot of angry babies born in November.
Why is that the only thing I had a cousin that was born in December 2000.
Because a lot of fathers actually had to take it out and do what they had to do. But let's you know that there was no sports betting then. You understand? So you had to.
There was just not the way we.
No. They had to release the tension somehow. But let's actually look at it, because I actually did not even want to bring up Kanu missing penalty. The game should have gotten to the penalty spot, and that's why okay. Let me rephrase it and put it like this: Kanu deserves majority of the blame from the player's perspective. The coach then, Bonfrey Joe, total. From the start of the tournament to the end of the tournament, he just showed that he doesn't have anything upstairs. That's just the simple truth. And the thing about Nigeria is that during that time, European football was so much ahead of African football from a tactical perspective. That's just the simple truth. We are not African football has grown in leaps and bounds, but Europeans, we used to look at them as gods. You understand, from the tactical perspective, and obviously what Clemens Westerhoff did with that from that 1988 to 1995, that team, what he did, 2 AFCON finals, 1 win, a couple of bronze medal, silver medal. So being Dutch also, then you bring in another Dutchman after the whole Philip Trousset and Boran Milutinovic disaster. You bring in another Dutchman, you feel okay, this one is going to have sense. It does not have sense, because if he had any iota of sense, he will know from the start of the tournament that ele effect bad body for me. This one,
We don't have some title.
this particular player that is carrying African best title on his head is not going to deliver jack for me in this tournament. Starting from game, Julius Agawa was 18 years old then.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Julius Agawa was 18 years old. We also Julius Agawa at Nigeria 99, which was the under-20 tournament the previous year. So, who was Bonfrejo starting then? It was Raphael Chukwu. He was sparing Raphael Chukwu and Kanu in attack. What if I told you that Kanu played 90 minutes? Out of the 6 games, he played 5 90 minutes. With extra time, we can also add extra time to that one. 90 minutes throughout. From the tournament, there are some times in life that God is not calling your number. It happens like that every once in a while. Either God is not calling your number, you are losing form, or you are not just clinical in front of goal, or the pressure of being the African footballer of the year is too much for you to deliver. There's a spot for you on the bench. But during that time, player empowerment and Namibia running footballer, I don't go play 90 minutes upon 90 minutes, no delivery, no output, no goal, no nothing, just your braids.
I don't think he had braids then, but
Just your braids and the rest. We'll still one day we'll talk about 2002 AFCON, because that one is another disaster. But while we are still talking about 2000 AFCON, nothing, absolutely nothing. And obviously the coach had a role to play in Bonfrejo, but as a player you also have to deliver, and he did not deliver, and that's just the factual evidence. There's no sugarcoating it. There's nobody that can look at that 2000 tournament that Ikpeba scored, Babangida scored, Chukwu scored, Okocha scored. Literally, Mutu Adepoju, like almost everybody, except the person that was supposed to score in the African Footballer of the Year. And there's nobody that can defend that. Don't even go to the comments. Nobody can defend that tournament for me.
All right. So, Tunde, do you also feel that result, like the way the entire team went down, has caused a decline in Nigerian football since then to now?
Oh, Nigerian football was always declining, whether we had won that or not. I don't know which country you are living in, but the country itself, which way are we moving?
I thought you were supposed to be the positive one.
I just want to clear things up. First things first. It affected football generally, but not how you think. That tournament is the reason why Juju is so prevalent in African football today. That was the test run. That was the soft launch for Juju. That was the Juju conference. When when Apple want to launch new product, they will do an event. Tim Cook will come out with turtleneck. That was Juju's launch. That quarterfinal against Senegal. There's a late NFF employee that will constantly tell the story about seeing Senegal performing rituals before match time. You know, when teams are doing warm-up, people are warming up, doing run to the baseline, touch, jog ball, relax your muscles. Cameroon will do it. There's nothing you want to tell me. And Senegal, they were, Khalilou Fadiga scored quite early in that game. I think 7 minutes. And they were leading for most of the game. And according to the man that told the story, Nigeria tried to score, they could not score until he mustered up courage to enter the field and remove the Juju from beside Senegal's post. And lo and behold, Agawa scored 2 goals, 2 late goals to win us to win us that quarter-final. Whether you believe that's true or not, the point is that tournament showed people what Juju is capable of.
Shibe, I told you Juju exists. Shibe, I told you Juju exists. Especially with your Drogba.
I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying that tournament showed people what is possible. People say, hey, why will I train? Why? So everyone can when I do that as sleeveless jersey, people say it's fashion. People that put it back there. I don't know about there. It's always fashion. When again we do jersey like basketball and with their muscle. You see those guys. Why do you think that they cannot perform when we get to international tournaments and stuff? It's because the Juju only works within these shots. But in this shot that is working, we will use it like and that's what they did. That's what they did in that final. You cannot convince me that it's not jazz. You cannot convince me that a referee that's standing next to the post will see Pepa's ball going off the bar and say it's not a goal. It's because he did not see it. He was seeing, but it was not. It was like that Indian Nigerian. So he was seeing lion.
How did we get here?
How about that? Obviously, I'm joking. but on a more serious note, I don't know if it affected Nigerian football particularly because if you think about it, what tournaments have we ever hosted? Even that one was a co-host. Mm-hmm. What tournaments can we host? We cannot even host Africa Cup. Not even now that is how many teams. Then it was 16 teams. Yeah? Mm-hmm. It was 16 teams at the time. It was 16 teams. We cannot host by ourselves. We had to join with Ghana. I think we used about 2 or 3 stadiums here. But so we don't have the infrastructure to even host Africa at the senior level. I mean, since then we've hosted the other 17 World Cup. I think in 2009. Yeah, so I think that's the only major thing we hosted in that period. So when I say Nigeria football has been on the downward slope, that's what I mean. Those are the kind of things that strengthen your claim. If you want to be giant of Africa, you know if you host tournaments. And if that say something serious, we don't see you there. But if it's time, let me not say what I want.
Please don't. Thank you very much. Please don't say anything.
But yes, I hope with this football on your mind, I'll be able to convince you and not confuse you that Cameroon were using premium jams.
Yeah. So according to Tunde, Juju is real and we can blame it for what transpired at AFCON 2000, while Tosin is of the opinion that the reigning African footballer of the year at the time, Kanu, was the one who could not step up and lead the Nigerian team to glory, and as such, he is the one that we should blame for Nigeria's loss in the final. But what about you guys? What do you think? Who do you think, or what do you think is to blame? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. I am Jimmy Anishilowo, and this is Crossfire brought to you by Live Score Bet.